Hi, I'm Kelly Thompson with Moti-Vitality, and welcome to the Moti-Vitality Installer Training Facility. Today we're going to be doing an installation in bay number 3, also known as the RWC bay. And that's because RWC, Reliance Worldwide Corporation, is one of our sponsors. They are kind enough to supply us with John Guest fittings and shark bites and a lot of the tools that we need for PEX. We get all of our PEX tubing and our PEX fittings from RWC. And they've sponsored this bay number 3, so this is the RWC booth. Today we're going to do an installation in this bay using the RWC ProLock connectors. If you're not familiar with these, I want to show you what these are. And they're a really easy way of doing any CTS or copper tube size tubing. So they're excellent for transition fittings. You can go from copper to PEX, any type of PEX, PEX A or B, or if you're still using C, though I don't know why you would ever use C for an installation. The way these work is they have an O-ring, much like the John Guest push connect fittings we're used to. But when you connect these and you shove your tubing in, there's an arrow here and another arrow here that shows when they're locked. So these are the ProLock. And that keeps that tubing from slipping out. We're going to do this installation. We're going to show you how easy it is. Today we're going to be installing a CSI Signature Series Bluetooth water softener. CSI was kind enough to donate this softener, and I've never hooked this up. So I've played with the Bluetooth of it. I've never hooked it up. I don't know how it sounds, how it works. But we're gonna install this unit here today, along with RWC's ProLock fittings. And let's take a look and see how easy it is. First thing I'm going to do is plan out how I'm going to install it. I'm looking at this basement scenario, and when I look at it here, I know that I'm not going to be able to install over here in this area because we need to be at least 3 feet away from the electrical panel. So we're not going to be installing here. This is a closed loop geothermal system simulated, so we do not need to make that soft water. So what I believe I'm going to do is put the water softener located over here beside the furnace. I've already tested this to see where the main is, and while it could be here, we know that the main is actually over here, and I tested that by turning the water off on both locations and making sure that that I had no water coming out of the spigot here. So this looks like it is just a shutoff going to the rest of the home somewhere. Okay. I also used an outlet tester to test this plug and discovered that this is on a switched plug. And so I will not be able to plug the unit in there. I will need to plug it in over here and in that location. So we're gonna install the softener here. We're gonna pull off this coupler and put an elbow on there. So I'm gonna come down through here. My supply is going to come down back behind the water heater over to here. I'll come into the softener here, and then out of the softener is going to come back, and I'm going to replace this shutoff valve, which really doesn't need to be there. I'll replace that with a T, and so my water will come out of the softener and here, and it will backfeed. Now I will take this T out and put an elbow in, so I will essentially eliminate this entire section of plumbing, and so this will allow the water, softened water, to come back up through here, backfeed into the water heater that direction, and then hot water going out to the rest of the home. All right, let's get this installation done. Okay, so we're going to release the pressure out of this. Should have the water off here. Get a bucket here and make sure that we have no water in the lines. We don't get wet. Okay, that's all good. Perfect. And let's start cutting in. So the first thing I'm going to do on this, and actually here's what's nice about these ProLocks. We've already got a lot of this installation done with the ProLocks, so I really do not even need to cut this. I can simply unlock it. So turn that, and we're going to do it just like a John Guest fitting. Pull that guy right out of there and since this is going to be turned into an elbow, unlock that one as well. Take this whole thing out, and then I'm going to be able to reuse this fitting. We're going to pull off this coupler. Okay, put this elbow in here. Now I do want to make sure that it's not scarred up and scratched. So I might cut a little bit off of that because it's just a little bit of scar on that. We'll cut that off. Put my elbow here. Now I can go on and bring this piece here as well. Now, before I put new pieces, these are pieces that were already used, but I want to check and make sure that I'm deburring these, because even with PEX, and especially with copper, but even with PEX, this tool, by the way, comes from RWC as well. It's a really nice tool. Nice thing about this tool that I love is, in addition to deburring, it's got a razor inside there. You also have the ability to, with a marker, you mark a line, and it shows how far in that fitting needs to go. That's kind of nice, so that you know that you've seated the fittings. But I love this tool. It's a great little handy tool. Also comes from RWC. But we're going to take this guy and we'll shove it in there. I'm going to make sure that all my fittings are locked so that they do not come loose. Okay, I'll need another elbow. Another elbow here. Make sure that that is locked. So the only time I've ever seen these dripped is when they're not locked. Okay, so now I'm reusing a lot of the PEX that I pulled out of here, which is kind of nice. So again, I've got some scar on that fitting, and I don't want anything scarred on there, just because, you know, just like with RO tubing, when you install an RO, sometimes if you get that scarring on there, it can, you know, that's a place for it to leak. So sometimes you want to just double check that and make sure that it's not scarred. Okay. All right, and now I'm going to put another elbow here. Okay, pretty good. Okay. All right, now we're going to take, need to get a long piece of PEX and run it over to where my softener is. But let's bring my softener up and set it down so we know how to do that. All right, so I'm going to plug my connectors in. Again, I have the ProLock connectors, which come in lots of different sizes, but just makes connecting these, whether you use copper or PEX, they just make connecting these so much easier. So this one I'm going to, and they do have straights as well on these for those installations where you might need a straight. That one will come straight into there. Just awesome. Okay, and this one is going to come out, and we're going to end up going into this, replacing that with a T. So we're going to put that one here, and it will be going up. There we go. Should be good. May have to tighten those a little more once we get water in them. Make sure. I think they're good though. All right, so we need a straight cut on that, which I do not have. And I got to deburr that guy too. So I get a straight cut going in there. Fun. Deburr it. Okay. And lock it in place. Okay. And now I can come over here and put my level on this guy. It's going to be quite out the way I need it to be. Okay. This is going to be in there temporarily to hold it for a minute. Okay, we'll just hold that there for a minute. All right, and then pretty level. Go in there. Okay, grab another piece of PEX. Deburr that. Okay, so we need to cut. I want to point out this tool. I love this tool as well. This is a Shark Bite PEX cutting tool, and I just really love the way this cuts the PEX. It is not going to do very well for RO tubing, so use the smaller tube cutters for that. But for PEX, anywhere from 1/2 inch up to 1 inch, these are just awesome. All right, and I can move this back just a little bit. I cut that a little long, but we can move this softener back this way just a touch. Make sure that we are straight. Pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. I gotta deburr that guy. All right, now we'll make sure we put us a tube towel in there. Okay. Locked. Locked. Oops, sorry. Locked. Locked. Okay. There we go. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm locking all of my ProLocks here. I'm checking to make sure everything is locked. Okay, and let's fire it up. see how we did. Sure, we're good to go. My bypass is off there before I go into my softener. So let's just fire up my plumbing here and see what we got. Okay, so far so good there. Not totally under pressure yet, but all right. So guess what? The softener is installed. So now we just run my drain line. Okay, one of the things that I really like about these are 1/2-inch ProLocks, and the nice thing about them is they actually work with the 5/8 drain line. And so you'll be able to put these on and make corners. And because it doesn't restrict the flow, because they go on the outside of the tubing, you don't have a restriction in water flow. So these are great for making a nice, neat looking drain. So we're gonna plug this guy in here. Drain line, because I don't like the way that curves there. I think I'm going to use an elbow and make it a much nicer, neat little adjustment there. This elbow on. You can use PEX on your drain lines as well, but they'll lock these up. It's just going to allow me to make a really nice little turn there instead of that hard turn, and keep it a little neater. Also, cut that a little long. Cut that a little short. And I can secure this drain line as well a little later. But now normally I would like to use one whole long piece of drain line, but if all I have are a couple pieces, I can certainly use a coupler to combine those as well, because they fit beautifully. Okay, and then where's my air gap adapter here? Put this guy on. This customer wants to install a reverse osmosis down here in the future, so I'm using an air gap device that has a separate place to drain the reverse osmosis into it. And until I install the reverse osmosis, I'm going to add the 1/4-inch plug, which also comes from RWC and John Guest. We're just going to shove that in there so that when we fire up the drain, it does not leak through the RO port. All right, my line is pressurized there, and I do not have any leaks with these ProLock devices, which is very good. So I'm going to go on and turn the water back off for a minute, just while I finish my installation on everything. And I'm going to secure everything and make it look nice and pretty and straight as we do this. I'll zip tie my drain line here so it runs along the tubing here. Okay. Good. Okay. And all right. Now we will install my brine tank. Okay. All right, so now we got the brine line there, we got the drain line connected. Let's go on and fire her up. Plug her in. All right, one of the things that I really love about this CSI valve here is its ability to run on Bluetooth. So I have my tablet here. We're going to connect this guy to Bluetooth, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the App Store and I'm going to download the Legacy View app. So let's do that. The Legacy View. Legacy View, and it's here, Chandler Systems. So we're going to install that real quick. You can get this valve from Nelson, who is also one of our sponsors, but this and pretty much every type of unit you might need, whether it's a FLEC or a CLAC, so I would definitely talk to Nelson about this or any of the other valves that they have to carry. Okay, so it says, please grant permission to find nearby Bluetooth devices. Absolutely. So we're going to give it, look here, it says metered softener. Okay, and we are connected. So now we're going to go on and set our, we can change all of our settings. So my time of day, set the unit time to be on the same as this device. Absolutely. So it automatically switched to 3:30 there on our device. Okay, we don't have any water flowing, so I can look at this while I'm connected to Bluetooth. Now, CSI Chandler Systems also has their drop system that connects to Wi-Fi. This one does not connect to Wi-Fi; it's all Bluetooth, but so easy to set up, and we can go through and adjust this and change it however we need to. So my hardness here at this location is going to be it's 12 grains. We can change that to 12 grains very easily. My regeneration time's at 2 a.m. Excellent. Okay, and I can set my brine tank level. When I fill the brine tank up, I can put that to exactly how much salt is in there, and it's got a salt monitor on it. Okay, but I am going to, because I need to, I've never fired this unit up, and so we have to very slowly fire it up. So we're going to come over here. I'm going to turn the water on to the unit, or to the plumbing. We've already checked to make sure there were no leaks. So turn the water on, and now I am going to, with my app, I'm going to go on and kick it into a manual regeneration. So regenerate now, and my bypass is still completely closed. Okay, so bypass is closed. And yep, it's off. Okay, so bypass is closed. So I'm going to kick it into regenerate now. Regenerate unit now. Okay. Okay, this was actually set up as a brine pre-fill, so all right, so I need to go to the next my next setting. So go to the next regen step. Okay. Oh, that's my brine draw. My next one, this was set up. It was set up as a brine. It's set up as a brine pre-fill here. So that was my brine draw. So this should be number 3 should be my backwash setting because we had this set up as a pre-fill. So the first step was my my fill. So here's my backwash. All right. So now we're going to open our valve up very slowly. So this is my first time firing this guy up. So we're opening it up very slowly, and we're going to let it run there. And I'm going to go on and unplug the softener so that it does not time out while we are filling it up and running water through its backwash cycle. So I am double checking all my connections here, and I do not see any leaks. I've not secured this because we're going to uninstall this again as soon as we're done. But I did take the opportunity to zip tie my drain line, clean it up a little bit. This is where I would also pick up all my tools. Also, I did run the line around the brine tank here a little bit. I probably wouldn't do that unless the customer found the need to move the brine tank periodically. And the other thing that I would do, definitely, if I were doing an installation in an actual home, is I would sanitize the system by pouring this directly into the brine tank. This is a sanding system from Pro Products. So coming over here, I'm starting to hear some water going into the drain, so I know that I'm starting to get a little bit of water, and it's a very slow process. You can see there, and hopefully you can actually see the color. This is a new system. You see the color of the water there a little bit. So I don't have resin going in there, but that's just because this is a brand new system and we haven't run any water through there yet. So okay, so we're getting water through there, so I can plug back in my system. All right, and so we've got our time here. Okay, and now let's go on and open this up here, or close it up for just a second. Well, I want to give that a chance to settle back down just a little bit. I can certainly check to make sure that I'm not blowing any resin here. And we'll make sure that I don't have any resin coming out of the water there. Let's take a look. It's a red bucket, but yeah, it looks pretty clear, so good. Okay, so it means we took our time backwashing that, and we are at our little 8 minutes here, but since we are now full, we can go on and open this guy up slowly. So as I mentioned, this is one of the less expensive units that come from CSI, but I love the Bluetooth capability on this. It's super cool, super easy to set up, and I can show you, we can go on and cycle through this thing. Okay, and we're gonna put a little more pressure in the drain line here. All right, so we got that opened all the way. Water's coming through here. I do not have this secured. Normally we would of course glue that on, but it is not glued on there. All right, so my drain, no leaks on my drains. Making a little more noise over here. All right, so we've got my Legacy View app again. We're going to connect to the metered system. Let's reconnect back to this thing. All right, there we go. So I'm going to go to the next step in my regen. Now moving over. That was my fast rinse, and now we are back to our regen. So let's take a look at our advanced settings on this app here. So we've got our, because we're set at a pre-fill, I've got backwash set at 10 minutes, my brine draw at 60 minutes, my rapid rinse, and then my brine refill 6 minutes. So if I turn this off, the brine pre-fill, then that should so it should, the pre-fill now is going to wait. So let's see if I can set my, it should have, if I set the brine pre-fill, there we go. Here's my brine soak duration. So it gives me a brine soak, so I can set that to whatever I want there. I can change my reserve capacity. I can turn off brine refill so I don't have the soak time. So now it's going to brine refill as the last step instead of right before it goes into regeneration. I do have my status and history here. Okay. All right, so if I should be ready to open this guy up now, and my bypass, and if I turn on my water, I should be able to see my current water flow. Here we go. So I'm getting 8 roughly 7 gallons a minute through this. So, and I'm looking at my gallons treated, and my gallons treated since my last reset, my total regenerations since we had the valve. Okay, and then of course I could program in the dealer information here as well if I wanted to do this. So, so there is, that's my CSI valve. At this point, we're definitely going to want to go through our checklist, which is going to include cleaning up all of our tools and our mess, double checking to make sure there are no leaks, explaining everything to the homeowner, showing them how to download this app, and explaining to them that they are going to want to empty their water heater because they're going to have hard water in there. They're going to want to clean out the back of their toilets if they've got iron in the water. They're definitely going to want to cut down the amount of soap usage so they use. Those sorts of things that we'll want to explain to the homeowner, and then we should be all good to go. So again, thanks for watching. Check out these ProLocks. They're easy. I mean, you saw how fast and quick these things went in. The one leak we had over here on the drain line was simply because I had not shoved that tubing all the way in, and so that's the only times I've ever seen leaks on these things has been either the tubing has been scarred up, or you haven't seated it all the way in, or you didn't lock it with the twist lock. Those are the only times I've ever seen it. Now I suspect that they would also leak if you didn't deburr, especially if you were using copper, if you're using these as a transition fitting. Remember, these are CTS fittings, so copper tube size, so they're going to fit PEX A, B, or C, copper, or CPVC, and you can use them as a transition fitting for any of those. But they're just super easy to use. I love them as a quick and easy installation tool, and definitely should be considered an option when you have PEX installations, or when you are looking to transition from one to the other, or you're just looking for a nice, clean, fast, reliable installation. So Any questions, please call RWC, John Guest, or give us a call, and we can certainly answer those questions for you as well. So thanks very much.